This came across my timeline. I wanted to briefly touch on it. And by briefly, I mean yap about it. This person says VTubers should be apolitical. People don't expect you to only talk about politics. Most of us aren't even in the US, I'm assuming. This is what they're saying. But people expect you to have a clear stance on whether or not racists, bigots, misogynists, and transphobes, aka right-wingers, have a place in your community. Okay. Interesting. We covered this, by the way, when we talked about Destiny a few months ago. Anyone who unironically believes, if you're not with me, you're against me, that kind of mentality is mentally ill. You can scream and cry and shit and piss your pants, but nobody wants to align with you when even the slightest amount of wrong thinking or wrong thing is met with visceral hazing that you justify by calling them all these buzzwords right here. I don't know. I just think it defeats the purpose of wanting to have people on your quote-unquote side. I kind of get it when they're coming from. How many VTubers say that the woke left is destroying society? Name one. How many VTubers are there that say that? Kirsche? Okay, that's one. That's it? I'm looking at what I've never said that. So we have three. Counterpoint. Why is there no left-leaning VTubers that do that? Are there? Because I think I know some, but just not like, maybe like one or two. But even then, I would call them more centered. I'm just saying. This is insane schizo posting from a random that just wants to know politics of their Oshis. Yes, I know. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like 99% of VTubers don't really talk about politics, like, period. I think Shy Lily once talked about her, like, country's politics one time in her stream. One time, by the way. Alana, your model is literally red, black, and white. You're literally a Nazi. I think most don't. The few people that do are just V-tweeters. Exactly. You can obviously make a brand for yourself that is what you want. You want to talk about things. That's totally cool. I think this person, if they want to be a quote-unquote left-wing VTuber, pop the f off. Please. Awesome. Knock yourself out, please. I would never attack you as a person or do anything like that. I would honestly just attack your argument just like you would, I would hope, respectfully attack other people's arguments rather than the person. And no! Only retards expect you to have an opinion on every major political topic so that they can pre-block you so they don't get triggered and have a panic attack when they see a post of yours they don't like. Normal people actually preferred if you don't talk about politics and you don't say anything. I wish political discourse wasn't so aggressive and personal on both sides. Me too! I find it really annoying when people on both sides start attacking each other over the littlest thing. Oh, you said XYZ or you didn't say XYZ? I don't give a fuck about you, go die. Politics mentioned at work. Well, I mean, technically this is kind of a work environment. Technically speaking. 90% of the top 100 VTubers don't ever touch politics for obvious reasons because schizos like this are prolific. They keep you in the dark intentionally because they don't know how you respond if they talk about it. Or they respond like this and start attacking you and saying that you're a bigot, misogynist, transphobe, and a racist. And then you're just sitting here like, but I'm none of those things. Again, if you don't lean right enough, people will say that you're a pussy. And Kirsche has been called by extreme right-wingers saying that she's not right-wing enough because she doesn't say slurs. It's insane. Guys, you can say that Kirsche's right-wing. Okay, I don't know. I don't care. She's just a nice person. I talk to her. Just like on a human level, I think she's a nice person. She's nice to talk to. She's polite. She's very kind. Just from my interactions alone. And I think she's really funny. Kirsche has over 80 variations of the N-word banned in her stream and in her Discord, by the way. She believes the Holocaust happened and got shit for it. That's what I'm saying. I think that you can't, you have to ignore people on both sides that are that extreme that if you don't believe in something or you don't say something that they think is part of that hemisphere of their beliefs, you are automatically not part of that side. It's both ways, by the way, not just left or right. You're too centrist. I hate that. I hate that mentality. Ugh, such a headache. You can't pander to the extreme on either side. You can't appease them. Extremists on either side are very all or nothing. Yes, that's what I'm saying. And on one of my mods, I think it was maybe Caius that talked about it on stream one time. He said, if you don't subscribe to the entire list of demands that one of the extreme sides does, you're automatically banished from that side and you're called a centrist. Even if you subscribe to like 2 sides, or maybe it was Asmongold, but anyway, I think we brought it up on stream multiple times. Maybe it was like multiple mods that said it, but my point is that if you don't subscribe to the entire quote-unquote agenda, you're automatically like shunned out and called like a racist or a Nazi by either side, or that you love Jews or whatever, or you're Jew plant. People started saying that Kirshi was a Jewish plant, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you can't be serious, bro. Yes, political labels are insane. That's why I never label myself. It's so stupid. They're insane. Those people are insane. If you don't label yourself, they start fucking having a meltdown. Asmon's talked about it a million times. People have called Asmongold, this is a great example. People have called Asmongold a Nazi, but then he says he voted for Birdie back in 2016 or whatever happened. And he said that he subscribed to a lot of what Bernie Sanders is, and then people call him a communist. And you're just sitting here like, pick a fucking side. What the fuck is wrong with you? Talked about this with people who are brain broken about how you don't like corporatism, but also think you're a heathen for being a VTuber. Yes, like I'm a heathen for creating a brand, which is inherently it is inherently corporatism, even if I'm indie. So therefore, I am not allowed to criticize being like corporate, like hating corporate mentality or capitalism, or criticizing the fact that capitalism is doing a lot of harm to people. It does a lot of good, but it does a lot of harm too. So it's like, I don't know. Anyway, I am completely going off the handle. Oh, there's more. Right. Okay, let's read this. Oh, it was baby teeth. I saw this post as well a couple of days ago. It kind of popped off. It says, I don't care what your political values are. If you're a dick, it don't matter if you're a liberal or right wing or whatever the fuck. Just be a nice person and act somewhat rational and we can get along. If you wish harm on people because they don't see things the same way you do, you are the issue. And they got so much shit, by the way. They got so much crap for this. Basage. Chat Basage in the chat, W in the chat for that. And this person responded and said, this whole, I don't care about where you are politically, just be nice, BS doesn't work when one side is fighting for basic human rights and the other side is fighting to eradicate minorities. Excusez-moi? What? Again, you're either with me or you're fighting to eradicate minorities. This is very telling, chat. And how you know they need help? They need a psych ward. If you disagree with them, not only are you an enemy, but you also want to eradicate them. And everyone like them. This is unironically how they think, and it's really sad to be completely honest with you. This is how you end up in perpetual victimhood, because you walk down the street and you constantly think everyone is out to get you. It's like social anxiety, but thinking like everyone's going to turn around and like try and fuck you over. Like, I'm scared of people too, but I don't think everyone like that disagrees with me is gonna kill me. Ugh, my lord, man. Political anxiety. I don't know. I guess I didn't grow up with like, maybe if you have parents that you grew up with or that raised you, or a family that raised you, I can kind of understand why you might have insane political anxiety. But most of the time when I see people like that, I just get exhausted being around them. Because if you scroll through Twitter and you happen upon like, I don't know, like an Elon Musk post and you just laugh at them, people that person will ultimately have a mental breakdown at work over, like, just nothing. It's a tweet. You didn't even say anything about the person typing the tweet. They just schizo out. As a liberal-leaning person, this kind of Twitter goblin makes liberals look bad, conservatives have them too. Just thinking they're smarter than everyone and that their way is the right way. They vaguely learned how to debate. Now they're trying to debate everyone. I don't try to debate people. I just want to hear what people have to say, and then if I disagree with them, that's fine. Like, as long as you're not calling me names in stream, I don't care. You're allowed to have an opinion. As Asmon said, we don't walk on eggshells around retards. They can cry on Twitter all they want, and we'll turn them into content for being retarded. Based, bald man. Based. Political anxiety is very real. My partner was telling me we need to make plans to leave the country if worse comes to worse. I mean, if you feel that way, go ahead. If you feel that way and you feel that badly, sure. I understand. 07's in the chat. I wish the best for you. You accept LGBT people, but you don't like DEI in games, you see? I liked the Squid Games trans portrayal in my TV show. Oh my god. Unbelievable. Alana, that's so weird. I thought you hated LGBT people. It's like, no. A well-written character is a well-written character. Very well written, by the way. Side note. I was watching the episodes, like last night. Squid Games wasn't in your face about it? No, it kind of was, because they were openly talking about how the trans person in the game, in the Squid Games, because it's all about like people dying and stuff. And there was a moment where the older person is like, what? What's a trans person? The grandma was like, what? What's that? I don't get it. And then the character with her, the son, was explaining it to her. She's like, I don't get it. And that was that, you know? And obviously everybody was like, oh, well, you know, they're just part of the game. But anyway, I digress. Do your models have different political stances? Wait a minute, one's blue and one's red? Wait. You're onto something. I unintentionally did that, huh? Or maybe I did that intentionally? So that you chat will get confused, and I'm also a federal agent. It's funny how these retarded mouth breathers don't get that it's now about LGBT characters, but about the quality of the story, or how companies use said characters to shield themselves from any kind of criticisms for delivering a shit product. Again, Squid Games is a good show. They literally touch on a person being trans in the game, and it's quite an obvious character, not a character trait, like a character expose, but it's not intrusive to the story because it's just a person trying to get through the game. I'm only on episode 4, by the way. I don't know what happens, but you get my point. Yo, Adam, thank you for being here, man. I'm sorry to hear about your depression. I hope I help a little bit. All right. Oh, there was another thing. Okay, hold on. I hate how privileged people throw a tantrum anytime a group gets the same rights or representation as them and claim they're actually the ones who are being oppressed. Society doesn't revolve around cis-het white men. I'm so sorry that this shatters your worldview. Eye roll emoji. Is this about the Asmon topic we covered yesterday? I think it is, isn't it, chat? I have very subtle little signals right here that's going off. Yeah, I think it is. Cause that he went kind of like semi-viral with the tweets that were shitting on him and stuff. It's like, okay. Interesting. I'm especially baffled that a lot of things we all promote either don't adversely affect them or a net benefit to everyone, but then I remember the billionaires. Someone gotta think of them. The billionaires? I didn't know Asmon was a billionaire. Currently, does the only way if they have money though, if they live on the streets or complain about the way this world is, then no, you're targeting the wrong people in your anger. I hate how delusional people assume they lack the same rights as everybody else around them. He's as rich as Bezos. Yep, billion Wendy's cups. Yeah, more likely, not $1 billion though. Oh, it is about Asmon. Hold the phone. Yes, look at the dates, chat. Look. 1:11 a.m. same day, and then 1:26. So this is about Asmon. If I no longer have privilege, then how can I get a job? Asmongold, who is literally just getting paid millions to watch YouTube videos. If it's so easy, why don't you do it? I don't know. If it's so easy, why don't you get paid millions to do it? He also said that streaming all day is harder than working a regular job. Like, tell that to your manual laborers or your customer service workers. That's actually not true at all. He never said that. What? I don't think he ever said that. Didn't he give Hassan shit for that? Yeah, he was saying that about Hassan because Hassan was the one that said that. He was saying that Hassan was delusional. Wow, you can't even get your facts straight? That's kind of strong. Hassan got so much shit for saying that streaming drains your social battery, and for Asmon, that's just the normal shit he take. What are you talking about? That's literally not what he said. No way he said that, Lamau? Something along the lines. Dang, he didn't say that! He didn't say those words. If I no longer have privilege, then how can I get a job? That's not what he said. These people didn't even watch the clip of out of context. He didn't say that. He said that the only thing that should be considered when hiring for a job should be merit and qualifications. He specifically said nobody should have privilege, especially based on the color of their skin. These people are fucking retarded, bro. I can't imagine living day to day hating somebody so much that while not being able to attack their arguments. It's sad. Pathetic. Selective hearing? Yeah, you're right. Wow, you can just do that? You can just lie on the internet and then it propagates forever? Yep. Alana, tell the truth. Is Asmon your Oshi? No. He's not a VTuber, so he's not my Oshi. When these people hear that, they think, let's go back to the old system of hiring white men for their race and gender and not based on merit. I just think that it's crazy that Asmon says one thing and then people literally lie and then it propagates on the internet. It's crazy that that's a thing. They're trying to get rid of my favorite homeless man. Oh god. Aren't they the ones who want shit based on merit and not privilege? They are okay with privilege as long as it benefits them. This is such a non-argument. What? He never said that! Again, they're just saying that and perpetuating it. Oh, here we go. The unwashed cockroach man who makes a living off of freebooting other people's videos is preaching to others about privilege. Shut the fuck up, ass mid-roach. That's a new one. Ass mid-roach. They know he's right, they just emotionally disagree? Yes. Yes, exactly. Asmon is correct with that statement, but following them, that was saying DEI hiring is bad misses the point of what DEI hiring is, because when John Smith looks at hiring Joe Bob and Joan Julio, on average, John Smith is gonna hire Joe Bob because he is similar to the hiring manager. That's the point some people are making. But I'm saying that we shouldn't do that. We should hire based on merit and qualifications. And I'm pretty sure that's what Asmon said in the clip as well, even before and after. How do you enforce that? What do you mean? Just blind interview or something? It's not that difficult. If they already don't do interviews anymore, if you're gonna go on a sheet of paper, it shouldn't have like the notes saying, hey, I am homosexual and I'm a female. It should just say, this is X, Y, these are my qualifications. I get the DAO's made out of counter biases. I just think it's a bad solution. I think that we used to have a problem 40, 50 years ago of women and minorities not being hired. We used to, but the pendulum swung too far. Now we do it just purely based on these little cards that you can put on your interview or like your CV. I can see your name and make assumptions about who you are. That is what it's there for. Well, then you don't put the name on there. I don't know. I'm not saying there's a perfect solution, but I think that we've swung too far. That's a lie. Some cases are bad, but the rhetoric is completely manufactured and wrong. Look, all I'm saying is that people should be qualified to do a certain job and not be hired based on labels that they put on their curriculum. I don't think that I should be hired over someone, a man, that does a job better than I do or has higher qualifications or has more experience just because I'm a woman. I think they're misrepresenting the amount of times you're going to run into potential hires with the exact same credentials and then make a choice based off race. I think it's a fantasy land that you can't prove categorically. It's the same argument as unconscious bias, which is complete horseshit. Again, I don't like a gender and race and whatever else. Hiring managers will always have bias. Just saying your main can make them do that bias. Well, then we should just like monitor people's thoughts then at that point. I don't fucking know, man. Have the thought police put a microchip in your brain and every time you have a bias, you should get zapped. I don't know. I feel like we're genuinely reaching. You can't enforce that. Yeah, exactly. I also think the overall assumption is a hiring manager is a white guy. I don't know how good they'll work if that's not the case. I don't have the statistics in front of me. I'm sure there is a lot of white cishet men that work at managerial positions. But I think there's also people that are very well qualified that also get jobs in hiring managing positions. I have seen it. This isn't 1954. The AI overlords will figure out what we think, don't worry. Professionals don't let their bias influences. They do, of course they do. People are humans. Unfortunately, we would stop having to be human in order to fix this problem. It's impossible. Genuinely, it's impossible. Even the nicest person in my chat very likely has biases. Because people have human experiences. It's impossible. DEI or not, people are hiring off nepotism. That's also a really good point. What if you have biases towards not hiring X person because of X reason that is inherently an immutable characteristic that is not their fault? Maybe they're a really nice person and you don't... It's just like, it's so you can't do that without literally thought policing people. You don't know what the manager experienced as a person in that moment. You'll never know. There are steps to prove that they were biased. Counterpoint. What if you had a bad experience with a white person as a black person and you never say anything to them and you decline them because you had a bad experience with a coworker that happened to be white and a male or a female, and you don't hire them and you pick someone else, but they are qualified for that job? Like, we start going into this fantasy land that doesn't exist. I'm not saying the person that is in the managerial position that's black is racist towards the white person. They obviously have a fucking bias. It's a subconscious bias from a human experience that they had. That's racism? You can say that it's racism, but what if it's just them having a bad experience? It's an unconscious thing. It's still not allowed in hiring though, but how would you know? Because they're thinking that. We would literally have to have microchips in people's brains. How would you know? Like, consciously. What if it's like an equally, like, 50-50? The only thing is the difference is their skin color. How would you know? You can't. You can't prove their thought process. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't prove it. Soft racism. If you want to minimize all this BS, you'd have to leave the whole hiring process to computers, but that's not gonna happen. Yeah, we have that happening. We have that happening, and computers make errors and fuck over people because of one little error. Again, nothing's perfect. It sucks, sorry. You'd have to have a big enough sample size where the company just hired only white guys 5 times in a row or something. Even then, you're getting into such semantics. Like, what if you live in an area where, like, what if you're living in Denmark and there are more white people than minorities in Denmark due to the demographic and the population? We can go into like circles and circles and circles and circles around this. It's just, you can't. They hired 5 people that were white 5 times in a row in Denmark, where there's a majority of white people. Then what? Are the people racist? Then you would say, oh, okay, let's say that we increase the quotient to be 10 people in a row. That's when you get flagged for racism. Like, it becomes like a stupid game that people have to play and tiptoe around, and it's not realistic. That's okay, because the society reflects those statistics. But then you have people saying that it's not okay for a white majority country to have a quotient hiring of the flagging system being that 10 people in a row being hired being white is okay, but then suddenly the 11th one is not okay. Like, it doesn't make sense to me to have that dictated by a system that's not, I don't know. I just feel like I'm explaining myself into circles, and it's ridiculous. There are things that are incorrect, but the solution is more incorrect. It's greater evil sort of thing. I would rather there be no Hodaya hiring practices opposed to government overreach thought policing you. That's how we got the last 4 years. The pendulum swung too far. I would say it's even the last like 8 years. I think it started like back in like 2016. It just ramped. Hold on, people understand that DA hiring laws have existed since like the 60s in the United States, right? Correct. But it's also swung way too far. They took what was a good idea. I understand the sentiment of what was happening for 60 years. They haven't changed. The understanding has completely changed though. But anyway, I've been yapping for this for a long time. You get my point. Oh, okay, hold on. There's another post. Oh, right. Okay. Oh god. Oh yeah. She hates Rev. Classic. Harmless, silly guy. It's just satire. Bro, you're sending your cult following after people with 1% of your following for monetary gain by blatantly lying and twisting the narrative. Power dynamics are only hot in the tape of ASMR your wife makes. Oh, attacking the wife, too. It's kind of strong. Okay. And then they quoted the bio. I don't know, man. Again, you can hate Rev all you want, but like attacking the wife, really? Attention seeking? I don't think it's attention seeking. I think they just need help and get off Twitter. I'm not surprised that they hate Rev. Attack Rev's argument. Don't bring in his wife. Don't be weird.